All of you are aware, this is the session to honor Professor Ajit Chaturvedi on the occasion of his 60th birthday. So we'll just start with a brief video reel of Professor Chaturvedi and then we'll proceed.
Professor Ajit Kumar Chaturvedi is a distinguished name in the field of electrical engineering and has an extensive experience in wireless communication technology. He recently joined as director in Indian Institute of Technology, Roorkee. Professor Ajit received his entire professional degree like B.Tech, M.Tech and PhD from IIT Kanpur in electrical engineering. He served the Department of Electronics Engineering at Indian Institute of Technology at Banaras Hindu University in Varanasi from 1994 to 1996. Subsequently, he joined the faculty of the Department of Electronics and Computer Engineering at Indian Institute of Technology, Roorkee. In 1999, he moved to Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur, where he also held the positions of Head of the Department of Electrical Engineering, Dean of Research and Development and Deputy Director. Professor Ajit Kumar Chaturvedi's research interests are in communication theory and wireless communications. He is known for his contributions to waveform shaping and sequence designing and has recently worked on the detection problem in massive MIMO systems. He was the coordinator of the BSNL IITK Telecom Center of Excellence, which has done a large number of projects for the Indian telecom sector. Professor Chaturvedi received many national and international recognitions. Noted among them is the Distinguished Teacher Award of IIT Kanpur and Tan Chin Tuan Fellowship of Nanyang Technical University at Singapore.
Thank you very much. So, Professor Ajit Kumar Chaturvedi, a beloved faculty member of our Electrical Engineering Department, received his B.Tech, M.Tech and PhD degrees in Electrical Engineering from the Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur in 1986, 1988 and 1995 respectively. He served the Department of Electronics Engineering at Indian Institute of Technology, Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi from 1994 to 1996. Subsequently, he joined as a faculty member in the Department of Electronics and Computer Engineering at the Indian Institute of Technology, Roorkee. In 1999, he moved to the Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur, where he became Professor HIG in August 2012 and held the Sanjay and Rachna Pradhan Chair Professorship. Professor Ajit Chaturvedi's fundamental research in the area of communication systems, particularly to waveform shaping and sequence design, are pioneering and continue to attract the attention and citations of the global research community. As a result of this strong foundation, IIT Kanpur today boasts of one of the strongest groups in communication among all the IITs. A passionate teacher, he was conferred the Distinguished Teaching Award of IIT Kanpur and also the INSA Teachers Award. UG and PG students of the EE department have long admired his teaching of several fundamental courses in the area of communications. It is a matter of great pride for the institute that several of them are now globally recognized eminent researchers and industry leaders. Further, some of his students are distinguished or young alumnus awardees of IIT Kanpur. He has contributed immensely to IIT Kanpur in several important leadership roles, such as the head of the Electrical Engineering Department, Dean of Research and Development, Deputy Director. Several initiatives taken by him have helped in shaping the policies and reputation of IIT Kanpur. Professor Chaturvedi served IIT Roorkee as its director from January 2017 to October 2022. During this period, he also served as the director of IIAS Shimla, January 2017 to August 2018, and director of IIT Mandi from July 2020 to January 2022, thus shaping the legacies of these three premier national institutions. He has recently been appointed as the Vice Chancellor of Banaras Hindu University. Professor Chaturvedi was the coordinator of the BSNL IITK Telecom Center of Excellence, which has done a large number of projects for the Indian telecom sector. He is recipient of the INSA Teachers Award, Distinguished Teacher Award of IIT Kanpur, and the Tan Chin Tuan Fellowship of Nanyang Technical University, Singapore. He is a founding member of the Telecom Standards Development Society of India. Professor Chaturvedi was the member of the DOT committee, which recommended criteria for spectrum allocation to telecom operators in 2008. This session is an endeavor to honor the significant contributions of Professor Chaturvedi to the E department and IIT Kanpur as a researcher, a teacher, and an academic administrator on the occasion of his 60th birthday, 15th August 1965. So now, as the saying goes, that a picture is worth 10,000 words. We will go through a brief story, a life story of Professor, our beloved Professor Ajit Chaturvedi in pictures. And of course, there will be some commentary by my side, so please. So, like every story has a hero, our story also has a hero, and this is where our story starts. This is Professor. Very difficult to believe that this is a professor, but this is Professor Ajit Kumar Chaturvedi. When he tells me he was in second standard. So, if you look at this photo, I think I'll make some commentary. I'll add some captions of my own. I hope Professor Chaturvedi doesn't mind. It looks like the standard expression of a second grade. Either two things, I can think of two things. Either he doesn't want to go to school like any second grader, or looks like he's not happy that someone is taking his picture like a second grader. I don't know which one is true. Another very beautiful photo, Professor Chaturvedi. Of course, when I look at the three brothers, of course, all of them brilliant and distinguished in their own right. Middle one, a little bit more excited, looking at something is going on. Professor Chaturvedi wearing, probably wondering, where is my sweet? Mera kahan hai? Mujhe kab milega? When am I going to get my sweet? Here I showed, and this is a very interesting thing again, and me and Professor Adrish Banerjee were discussing, and just like in the last picture where he was wondering, where is my sweet? Here he is wondering, mera kurta kahan hai? Where is my kurta? Both the brothers are wearing a kurta. Where is my kurta? Of course, again, our middle brother, I think, Dr. Saab. This is Dr. Saab looking a little bit, always very colorful. That is what I found, and very interested. And of course, Professor Ajit Chaturvedi always looking very, and hairstyle is very, very similar. That is what I could see from what it was then and what it looks like now. Very dashing, but of course, without the kurta. Very interesting picture again, Professor Chaturvedi, just very appropriately or very dashingly as well. One thing is very interesting is this dog. I think his love for dogs started very early. I think once I see this picture, because they had a dog when they were our neighbors, I think Bouncy, dog looks very similar to that. So it's a very, very interesting, and also shows his keen love for animals. There's a photo of Professor Chaturvedi lost deep in thought, thinking about, of course, he's a thinker, always thinking about important things. Just like some of these big people, always thinking, lost in some of the big people you can see when they are thinking. So I think, yeah, you can definitely see he's thinking about either the next film or what is the next theory. So very lost in very deep thought. Professor Chaturvedi receiving his undergraduate degree. I think this is his BTech degree. I think this is Director Sampath. Of course, many years later, he would go into the position where he would be here and he would, I think, hand over many degrees. So eventually, I think 30 years later, he would be in this position. I think our director was also probably received degree in the same convocation. So it's a matter of great joy. This is a very interesting comment. I think this is a very, very loaded statement, and many of these things, I think I never knew some of these things about him. So I think you can all of you read it. This is probably from his yearbook when he graduated in 1986. So of course, Professor Ajit Kumar Chaturvedi, birthday 15th August. It says the Mahatma. So I think he was known as Mahatma, better known as Gandhi or Swami Ajitanand. That is what his name, Swami Ajitanand, or simply Pandit. And Mahatma sleeps on the floor. So apparently Professor Ajit Chaturvedi was sleeping on the floor. Maybe there was a hostel accommodation crisis or something of that sort.
So he was sleeping on the floor and wearing khadi, and discourses at length on appropriate technology. So I'll link it to the appropriate technology later, and also on rural India. And the PRK of the feature, I think some of you might know the PRK, the legendary professor of EE department, Professor PRK Rao. And I would say, and Professor PRK Rao would agree that he is in fact the PRK Rao of the department, and of course has exceeded him, which would in fact bring him a lot of happiness. Of course, one of the most significant days in his life, the love of his life, Charu ma'am. And of course their wedding day, and I wasn't able to recognize this, but this is Professor, as Adrish Banerjee found out, Professor Govind Sharma, and of course he's looking younger than Professor Chaturvedi. So, and both of his, I think, twin daughters, all of whom now grown up. So one of the most, I think, memorable days. One of the other most memorable days, I think, the joy of his life, their daughter Anya Chaturvedi, I think, the brilliant person. Where is she? She is now, of course, all grown up over there, looks a lot like her father. And Professor Chaturvedi, you can see gently grading. Another very interesting picture. Somehow Anya is not very happy, pulling lot of his hair. But not to worry, most of his hair is still intact after this. So you can clearly see that it's lucky that most of his hair has still survived this kind of, this kind of treatment. So very good. So another very playful moment from Professor Chaturvedi. I think Anya is not very happy. I think here Anya, that is what maybe resulted in the hair pulling. I think the hair pulling came after this thing. And Professor Chaturvedi, I think, peeking from behind, and I can see hint of the mustache starting to whiten the first time. So I think this is the point. Must have been in IIT Roorkee, I think. Must have been some of these pictures. Again, our Mahatma or Ajitanand makes an appearance as usual. Table full of material. I think many of these must have been, I think, IEEE papers, if I'm not mistaken, some of these IEEE transactions, etc. And true to him, I think a lot of these things. So I think if you go to his office, I think maybe now when, as we say, I think they keep his table clear, someone is there. But I think if you went into his table as a faculty member, his table was still like that most of the time. And this is a photo from a Hindi movie in the 90s. You can see we have our hero and heroine. And yeah, it's a very, in fact, Professor Adrish Banerjee saw this photo and said, "ये तो Professor Chaturvedi नहीं हो सकते, तो कोई और है, दिखाओ." This cannot be Professor Chaturvedi. So Professor Chaturvedi and Charu ma'am. One of the photos from their early days. I think IIT Roorkee, what is interesting again about this thing is, you can see a small glance at their chariot, which survived, I think, for many years. I think it was there at least for 20 years. Even I recall seeing it at IIT Kanpur when I joined. So must have been there at least 20 years. I think Professor Chaturvedi has a rule that he uses every vehicle for at least 20 years. Because he used this thing, I think the cycle was also there for 20 years. I think the car which we had, I think that was also there for 20 years. So I think now his new car is also going to be there for 20 years, I'm guessing, or even more. So it's a very, and of course you can see their lovely daughter and the rest of the family. And this is the appropriate technology. So what he dreamed of in 1986 of bringing appropriate technology, finally went to the 4G forum. So I think finally succeeded in building appropriate technology. I think this was in Korea, some 2003. So as usual, always ready for research, always ready to give a talk. Excellent teacher, honored by many teaching awards. One of the many teaching awards, the Distinguished Teaching Award at IIT Kanpur, I think in 2007 with Professor Dhande. And getting ready to host the national conference. He was the JTG coordinator, so getting ready to host the premier national conference of communication in 2007. That is again Professor Dhande. I'm told this is Shri Bajal. This is the chairman of TRI, so again one of the most prestigious. And this person you will not recognize, but this person is our very own Professor Adrish Banerjee. What is very different about this is you can see Professor Adrish Banerjee is smiling. So somehow Professor Chaturvedi always has managed to make Professor Adrish Banerjee also smile. So whenever I meet Professor Adrish Banerjee, he is never smiling. His first statement is always, "Arey yaar, massive chaos ho gaya, massive chaos ho gaya." That is what I always say. Whenever I meet him, there is something or otherwise that is broken. So somehow he managed to make NCC, I guess, run smoothly. So he is happy, and Professor Chaturvedi, and these are some of our Joseph John, Professor Partha Singh Sharma, some of our other colleagues. This is then a student, I think, Professor Sheetal Kalyani, who is now a faculty member, IIT Madras, Professor Ajit Chaturvedi, and this is her advisor, I think, Giridhar Krishnamurthy, also faculty member, IIT Madras. I think this is also NCC 2007. This is a very interesting photo. You might not recognize all people, especially this person, because it looks very, very different now. So this was our first trip. I shouldn't say trip. It was actually a research visit. I have a lot of stories regarding this. This is where we went to Malaysia. I have many stories regarding this visit. I was there with Professor Chaturvedi and Professor Adrish Banerjee. Most of those stories involve Professor Adrish Banerjee, which I will tell when he turns 60 years, which was also probably coming up sometime soon, maybe next year or something of that sort. But with respect to Professor Chaturvedi, it suffices to say he's managed to spend 1 week in Malaysia without eating anything from Malaysia. So all his food was imported from India. So if any of you vegetarians are concerned about how to survive outside in a trip and how to import food from India, you have to take. I have never seen him eat anything in Malaysia except on the last day, I think, he was having one order of French fries. That's all he had in Malaysia. Rest everything was imported in India. And he ate. We got a share of his food. No, those stories I'll tell during your 60th. This thing. That is a different thing. And the way reason his food lasted, because he ate all the food in his room secretly. That is the secret of it. And we were wondering where is Professor Chaturvedi, and Professor Chaturvedi is somewhere in secret. Anyway, so there are a lot of stories regarding that. So this is also very interesting. You can see this is the Mahatma in front of another Mahatma. So you cannot see so our Mahatma Ajitananda in front of the Rashtrapita Mahatma Gandhi. I think this is the room in BHU. This is Professor Ajit Chaturvedi as Director IIT Roorkee. I think if I were to say make it fit what you can, is wondering when will this presentation end. That is always very energetic, always very dynamic. I think the people with him are thinking, why does he work so fast? Itna tej kyun chalte hai? We are finding it difficult to keep up. Always very, very energetic. And another inauguration at IIT Roorkee of the sonic detection and ranging facility. On the top of the world at IIT Mandi, where he also was the director for a brief period. Another interesting picture from IIT Roorkee. And if I were in place, if I were to see what he was thinking, I would just say they had to wake me up this time early in the morning in this cold only to wave a flag. So all the things that are they're making me do. So must have been pretty cold also at that moment. Here seems to have forgotten where the meeting is. Am I supposed to be in this meeting? Am I supposed to be in a different meeting? So Professor Chaturvedi, as is the nature, I must have been attending many meetings. Professor Chaturvedi, always a fun time with students. I think he's looking almost very similar in age to this group of students, addressing the faculty at IIT Roorkee. Now, if you observe this picture closely, you will see two people. One of them is a highly intelligent and world famous person. Other is Vishwanathan Anand. Taking charge as the director, as the Vice Chancellor of Banaras Hindu University. That is his latest assignment. His lovely family then, and their lovely family now. Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor Chaturvedi. Thank you very much. I now invite Head Electrical Engineering, Professor Yogesh Chauhan, to give short, describe Professor Chaturvedi's contributions to the EE department. Thank you.
So first, happy birthday again. I am extremely pleased and honored to talk about Professor Ajit Chaturvedi, my colleague in the EE department at IIT Kanpur, on his 60th birthday. Professor Chaturvedi has made outstanding contributions to the EE department, which have greatly strengthened the foundation of our department. He is well recognized as an experienced and exceptional teacher. Students may remember the course E320, Principles of Communications, taught by him many years after their graduation. He was bestowed the Distinguished Teacher Award by IIT Kanpur in 2007 and INSA Teacher Award by INSA in 2018. Professor Chaturvedi is credited with bringing a research focus to the EE department in early 2000. He strongly encouraged UG students to start research early in their stay at IIT Kanpur and was able to generate top-notch publications by mentoring them. If I remember, Ketan also worked with Professor Chaturvedi. When he published a paper in IEEE Transactions on Communication in 2005, it was the first paper from the department in TCOM after a gap of 21 years. Since then, we have been able to get papers regularly in TCOM, and today we have more than 75% papers in TCOM from the department. The first 7 papers in IEEE Transactions on wireless communications from the department were published by Professor Chaturvedi. Out of the 10 papers in information theory transactions, 3 of them have been co-authored by Professor Chaturvedi. As the head of the department from 2009 to 2012, he recruited a record 9 faculty members in the department. He took several initiatives that helped improve the profile of the department. He initiated information sessions about the EE department outside IIT Kanpur, targeting especially the PG students, which greatly helped increase the number of PG students in the department. To familiarize the UG and PG students with various research initiatives in the department, he started a faculty seminar series and resumed publication of the Electrical Engineering Association newsletter, EEA. To encourage UG students to pursue practical research, he also started a summer research internship committee in the department to help students secure an internship in the core discipline after the first year of their undergraduate studies. Under his mentorship, a network laboratory was also created, blending the theory with experiments. When I joined IITK in 2012, he was a Dean R&D. During his time as Dean R&D, he greatly improved the efficiency in the Dean R&D office significantly. He was always approachable and ready to help. It was his generous support and guidance which helped me personally to establish one of the best semiconductor device characterization laboratory in the institute. As a DFAC member, last year he helped me learn a lot of things about administration and has been guiding me since then. In summary, Professor Chaturvedi has made exceptional contributions to all aspects of teaching, research, and administration in the department and institute in general. Sir, on your 60th birthday, I wish you a very happy birthday on behalf of the entire department. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Yogesh Chauhan. Professor Chaturvedi, many of your former students have sent their reminiscences and wishes for you. So we will play the videos of some of them.
Hello everyone, my name is Arya Mazumdar. I'm a professor in the School of Computing, Information and Data Sciences at UC San Diego. I am delighted that Professor Jagannathan asked me to record a short message on the occasion of the 60th birthday of Professor Chaturvedi. So here it goes. Many happy returns of the day, Chaturvedi sir. I wish you a very long, healthy and worry-free life. Hopefully, I can come in person next time to wish you this, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you. One thing that I remember about Chaturvedi sir is his kindness. He was a very genuinely and effortlessly kind person, and he was incredibly inclusive towards his students. The result of this was twofold. First, he created this excellent lab, or one might say office space, full of friendly faces who sort of inherited the kindness from him. So I really look forward to going to office as I worked with him, as far as I remember. Second, his kindness instilled a lot of confidence in all of his students, especially in me, and it really helped me to find my work. I will not go on with this message any longer, but as I said earlier, I really looking forward to seeing you. Happy birthday, sir.
I'm honored to be included in this event celebrating Chaturvedi sir's 60th birthday. I received guidance from him during my master's, which was one of my hardest times because I'd applied for PhD positions after my BTech and I didn't get any. And he supported me very kindly and mentored me through those 2 difficult years, and I was able to finally get some admissions. And when I joined Berkeley as a PhD student, I was accidentally shown the letter that he had written to me. And I will not reveal its contents, but I will only say that it was the most kind, generous, and honest and thoughtfully written letters. And I'll always be grateful for that as well. And I think that's how I see Dr. Chaturvedi and how everybody sees him, that he's a kind, thoughtful, and honest individual. And I'm amazed and delighted at everything, sir, that you have accomplished in the last 30 years. And I'm excited to see what you do next.
Chaturvedi sir, wishing you a very, very happy 60th birthday. I feel lucky to be a student of a teacher who is favorite of everyone. I would say thank you so much for your influence on the teacher and mentor that I am today. Recently when a neighbor's kid learned that I was your student, he actually went to Roorkee. His reaction was, wow, you were Chaturvedi sir's student. It was lovely to see that excitement in the younger generation. We wish you and your family very good health and hope you would continue your loving mentorship for many more generations. Our best regards.
I now request former student of Professor Chaturvedi, Professor P.R. Sahu, Professor at IIT Bhubaneswar, to describe his reminiscences regarding Professor Chaturvedi.
Good afternoon. So I have the privilege and honor to speak here for Professor Chaturvedi on this auspicious occasion. I thank the department to remember the former students on this occasion. From all our students, on behalf of them, we greet our sir happy birthday on this milestone birthday. Thank you, sir. Happy birthday to you. I'll take one sentence about sir, that whenever you go to him with some problem, any research problem, anything, you will get, sir speaks very less, but he conveys a lot, immense. That solves all your problems. I have observed him. I was in interaction with him since 1999 when sir joined, and I was searching for a MTech supervisor. So sir was there. I went to him and sir said, yes, join. So I continued, and after that I continued for PhD also. And I was in that SES lab 201. I was sitting, and other students after that joined. Whenever any student comes, that yesterday night I have gone through the topics, I have so much thing I do not understand anything, with huge tension. So I say that these are the ways you can try, but he will go. Then I will say that you can meet sir and discuss. We'll go inside and come back. Oh, my problem solved. Then with a lot of happiness, and when I say that whatever I had said, now वो बाद में देखेंगे. So this is what our sir is. So we pray God for his health and mind and environment, whatever he gets to achieve his achievements. He has been an inspiration for all of us throughout his achievements. So I thank all of you for listening me. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Professor P.R. Sahu. We have a few more videos. There are several of Professor Chaturvedi students who have extremely distinguished are in really good positions in academia. Next, sir, we have a video of Saksham, who is now a faculty member at UIUC, University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, one of the top universities.
Hello, sir. This is Saksham. Hope everything's well with you and your family. It's truly a pleasure to be part of this celebration of your 60th birthday and your remarkable journey as a mentor and a researcher. I feel incredibly lucky to have started my research under your guidance back at ITK when I was still in my third year of undergrad. I still vividly remember how patient you were with me as I was learning the ropes. I'm very deeply grateful for all those technical discussions, how you challenged me to think more deeply about problems and to always aim for the highest standards in research. Even beyond technical guidance, I've always admired your kindness, your humility. I remember despite all your academic and administrative responsibilities, you were always so generous with your time for me. Those early lessons shaped not just how I approach my research today, but also how I try to mentor others. And thank you, sir, for being such an inspiration to me and for so many of other students of yours. Wishing you a very happy 60th birthday again. And I hope that we can meet sometime again pretty soon. Thanks. Bye.
Dr. Sandeep Ponnuru, who is now at Apple Silicon Valley.
Sandeep, from Apple, San Francisco Bay Area. I had the fortune to work with Chaturvedi sir during 2004 to 2006 timeframe. Sir's leadership and expertise in communications and his unparalleled attention to detail and clarity of thought have really shaped my research career during that time and afterwards. I'm very, very excited about Sir's leadership in shaping up the next decade of wireless communications research. All the best, sir.
Thank you. I now invite Professor Prabhat Patel, former student of Professor Chaturvedi, to share his experiences and reminiscences of working with Professor Chaturvedi.
Good evening, everyone. It's a true honor to stand here today and express our deepest gratitude to Professor A.K. Chaturvedi, a scholar, a leader, and above all, a mentor, whose impact on our lives have not been nothing short of transformation. Sir's journey has shaped not only our only institutions, but also generations of students. His brilliance is matched by his generosity, always guiding, always listening, and always pushing us to thrive for more. Research, as we all know, is never easy, but Sir's unwavering support made the difficult moments meaningful and smooth. His door was always open, his insights invaluable, and his commitment unshakable. I would like to share two brief stories about this journey. One is related to Dr. A. Rajesh, who is unfortunate not to be present here. But once during his final stage, Dr. Rajesh and sir began a review meeting at 9 p.m. And what was expected to be a short meeting, that quickly turned into a detailed line by line review lasting till 3 a.m. And during that period, Professor Rajesh, Dr. Rajesh was thinking to wind up as soon as possible, but sir. So this speaks volume about sir's insistence on excellence and refusal to accept mediocrity. This is what we have learned from sir. And another incident, which is more personal, occurred with me during my final stage of my thesis. After weeks of delays and personal stress, I confronted sir in frustration. But instead of reacting, sir listened. And in the days that followed, despite his busy schedule, he thoroughly reviewed my thesis and he wind up my thesis within 1.5 months. That act of empathy and dedication still guides me, not only in academics, but in life. So beyond academics, sir has been a mentor in truest sense, teaching us resilience, integrity, and service. His leadership at IIT Kanpur, IIT Roorkee, IIT Shimla, Mandi reflects not only administrative excellence, but a deep care for students and fellow colleagues. So as you take on your new role as Vice Chancellor of Banaras Hindu University, we wish you continued success and fulfillment. Your legacy will continue to inspire future generations across classrooms, institutions, and beyond. Sir, thank you for everything, and many happy returns of the day. Thank you.
Professor Chaturvedi, Manish, your former student Manish Agarwal, who works now in Chicago, has
yes,
also
sir.
sent you his
Manish
wishes.
here from 2003 batch. Very happy 60th birthday. What a beautiful milestone. I wish I had done a better job of keeping in touch. However, every Teacher's Day, I have thought about you and impact your guidance and encouragement has had on me. The excitement with which you taught communication and information theory was infectious and one of the main reasons I went on to get a PhD in the discipline. I hope you're keeping well and I hope to see you soon. Happy birthday, Professor Chaturvedi!
Professor Chaturvedi, the next wishes is from Professor Shubhanmesh Bose, a faculty member at UIUC.
Hello, Professor Chaturvedi. Happy birthday. I wish I was there to celebrate with you in person, but unfortunately I can't make it. It's fun to think about where my own research journey started. And it was actually a paper with you that got published in IEEE Signal Processing Letters that I wrote during my undergrad days. And that's where it all began. Also, from the email that was sent to your students to send this video, I find myself honored and privileged to be among those who received your mentorship and have gone on to pursue research as their profession. So again, all the best and happy birthday. Bye.
I now invite Professor Adrish Banerjee to share his reminiscences of Professor Chaturvedi.
Yeah, but I don't need mic anyway. I'll use the mic. So it's my privilege to know Professor Chaturvedi for now more than 20 years. It's my good fortune that I work in the same area as he. As a result, our collaboration has been great. We have guided students together. We have taught courses together. We have undertaken short courses together. We have traveled together. There are many stories. I'll tell you some of the stories of this thing. So he's a very cool guy to work with, okay? So if you are organizing any course or something, you ask colleagues, okay, what you want to teach. Professor Chaturvedi will say, Adrish ji, aapko jo theek lage, mujhe de dijiyega. That's the best answer I can get. So what would eventually happen is, I have prepared, let's say we have prepared the set of topics that needs to be taught, and some topic nobody is willing to teach. I'll dump it to him. And he has never complained, never. He has taught them very nicely. That's Professor Chaturvedi. Yogesh talked about his impact on publishing. I can tell you, I can attribute, the culture of publishing to him. He would not let an MTech student leave unless he or she has publishable material. And so when I joined, I knew that's a norm. Unless the student has done enough work to be able to publish, it's not good enough for an MTech thesis. And I can tell you in early 2000, he talked about TCOM and TWC. Publishing in transaction and information theory is far more difficult. Okay, he had, with his master student, Ratina Kumar and Apuswami, I believe, 2 transaction paper on information theory, unheard of. I don't think, I have not seen anybody, master student publishing in TIT. It's very, very difficult, okay? And interestingly, those work has still relevance today. The Ratina Kumar's work on zero correlation zone sequence design, which had application then in CDMA, have now application in spatially multiplexing MIMO system. So whatever work he did, 20 years back, there are still people publishing papers on that. In fact, last ICAS, we had a paper on those sequences. Regarding, he also mentioned this culture of publishing papers with BTech students. He believed that we should encourage students to research very early. And you would not believe, he had this amazing ability of transforming or giving them a directed problem and guiding them. So even if a student works for 2 months on a problem, there's a paper from his lab. I mean, that guidance, that kind of guidance. And you saw Sandeep from Apple. He worked on this ISI free pulses. Those in electrical audience here, sync pulse do not decay fast enough. Race cosine pulse decay at 1 by t squares. With this student Sandeep, he worked on ISI free pulse design which decay faster. In fact, in my EE 321 class, I talk about that work. It's that fundamental. Okay. Now let's talk about when he was I'll give you, at a very young age he got into administration, right? But academics is his first love. I'll give an example. So in 2016, I organized Shannon Centenary Day. So at that time, I thought, he's DD, he may not turn up, or what if last moment something turns up? So I did not put him in the program. Okay, I circulated the program to my colleagues, and I get a call. Adrish ji, aapne to mujhe slot hi nahi diya. I want a slot. I want to speak about Shannon. Now, not only he gave a talk, he stayed there whole day. Whole day he was, there. That's Professor Chaturvedi. Now, some of the lesser known facts. As I had, in his tenure, all the faculty got promotion. That's not because faculty were good. I'm sorry. That's not because faculty were good. Please don't take it that way. Okay? It's not because all faculty were good. What he did was, he sat with the faculty, went through their presentation, said, don't show this slide, emphasize this, do this. He tutored them. Please, I have not seen any head do that. I have not seen any head do that. And that's Dr. Chaturvedi. When he takes a responsibility, he doesn't take it just for the name of it or the power of it. He takes it because he believes he can make a difference. And that's Dr. Chaturvedi. Okay. Finally, for me, he has done a lot. Okay. I am somehow considered as a tough person. So he has helped me a lot. students would not come to me. So what he would do, he would take more students and add me as a joint guide. That's how I would get students. There were many times, I don't know whether you remember or not, my student refused to take my own course. Okay, but his students, trust me, his students always, no matter what course I taught. You know, few days back, there was a discussion in the Senate about making public this great distribution, right? His student, no matter what course I float, always, they cannot escape my course. Okay, they have never. There have been many cases where I just taught to Professor Chaturvedi students, and that's Professor Chaturvedi, and that's his contribution to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Adrish Banerjee. I think now BHU will feel very happy because now everyone will get promoted. I think the news will spread now. BHU, everyone is feeling very okay. Thank you very much, Professor Chaturvedi. I now request a very close friend, Professor VK Singh, to describe his reminiscences regarding Professor Chaturvedi. He has a very interesting picture. I will bring it up. And
happy birthday, Ajit. I did not know what to speak, so I thought I'll have one photograph to show, and that will speak everything. I know Ajit, he's our neighbor for more than 20 years. I don't remember the year. You know, those days we used to talk a lot, even today. Today we talk more on administration, policy and other things. And early days, we talk about research teaching in IIT Kanpur. Our timing coming back home from office was almost same, around 11 o'clock night. The only difference is when Ajit car comes, his garage gate will be open, thanks to Charu. And for me, I had to suffer, open the garage, park the car. But we almost sometimes he comes early. Early means 11:30, or I come 11:30. Anyway, everyone has said about teaching research. And these days, I'm not interested neither in teaching nor research. And I believe our country needs people who can do good administration, who understand governance model, and Ajit is one of them. As you can see the photograph, he's listening to Pankaj what he's saying. Somebody mentioned about he details out everything. He's quite analytical in thinking when it comes to administration. That's which I understand a little bit. He was very successful dean, R&D. I was not here, but I used to hear that he did outstanding job as a deputy director. In fact, one young faculty told me that we had the two best deputy director. Braj, your term come after your term is over, people will say. And I said, who are two? They said, Ajit Chaturvedi and Manin Agarwal, two were the best deputy director. So that speaks something, and he was very successful as a director in IIT Roorkee. Because I get to hear from people, faculty members, and he used to listen to their problems and solve. In fact, he gave a new building, chemistry department, because of the problem they had. And I'm sure now he's the Vice Chancellor, Banaras Hindu University, and university will benefit a lot. One drawback is he became Vice Chancellor. I'm unhappy that I get a lot of calls these days because I'm a bit a social person and everybody calls me to become close to Ajit. and I only think he will smile everything, but he's not going to do anything. I also like to mention that several years ago, Subramaniam was Secretary, Higher Education. I told him more than 80% IT directors are not competent. And Ajit comes in the 20%. With this, I convey my felicitation to Ajit and also best wishes to Ajit, Charu and Anya. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor V.K. Singh. Sir, Professor Ajit Chaturvedi, some of your former teachers have also sent you their best wishes. I think you'll appreciate that greatly. One of your most beloved teachers, Professor K.R. Sharma, who considers you a beloved student, has sent you his best wishes. With your permission, sir.
Dear Ajit, congratulations to you on this occasion of Chaturvedi. Since I knew you as a student, 40 years have passed, and in these 40 years you have contributed a lot in many, many areas, communication, and also in the education sector, especially with your being director for Roorkee University and also at the same time for many other IITs. You have done a wonderful job, and I am sure you will continue to do so. I wish you and bless you a long life. Satamanam Bhavati.
I now invite Professor B.S.S. Daniel to describe his reminiscences and also the contributions of Professor Ajit Chaturvedi at IIT Roorkee. Professor B.S.S. Daniel is a faculty member at IIT Roorkee. Thank you very much for coming over. Let me just put up your speech.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Jagannatham, for inviting me on this very special occasion. And Professor Ajit Chaturvedi, Vice Chancellor, BHU, many happy returns of the day. And it's really an honor for me to be in this August gathering because I myself did my PhD here and overlapped with Professor Chaturvedi's time here because I was here from 93 to 97 as a PhD student. So it's really a privilege for me to be here. As you can see, I think we all have to agree that Roorkee has the better main building compared to all the IITs. And I thought I should put this on. So it's indeed important to point out that IIT Roorkee, as it became an IIT in 2000, had seen directors who came from IIT Delhi, came from Roorkee itself, and then IIT Bombay. And when I came to know that there was someone coming from IIT Kanpur, naturally I was excited, and Professor Chaturvedi did not disappoint. It was really a privilege for me also to work with him in certain capacities. He created the first Institute Academic Ethics Committee chair, and I was the first chairperson of that. And it was indeed a privilege because he told me when he said that you are going to be the person, he said, I will help you. And I could, after, when I finished that term, I could really see the kind of help I had received, which made that possible. And also, I was manager of the ABN school, which was a challenging position, but he gave me all the room to exercise the authority which that position gave to resolve many issues and give a campus school which the parents would also like to put their children into. And of course, the department, which was an interesting period because we were doing the renovation, and that brought some interesting problems. But coming to his leadership and vision, it's normally said that good teachers cannot be great administrators. But I think Professor Chaturvedi is clearly an outlier because he thought through everything. And even when problems came, he did not look at a person as a problem, but rather tried to identify what was the problem and try to resolve it. So that was a gift he had, and he carried it through. And the kind of openness and mutual respect that he promoted, because Roorkee, we are 175 years old, so we carry that legacy. So he helped to break a bit of that and allow young people to break through and find their feet and do something in the institute, which is something really great. I think because of the kind of administration Kanpur had for many years, so that model he tried to push through, and that was something refreshing, and he was accessible to many. While it was important for him that the institute lives up to its glory, not just the past. So he tried to ensure every department, he knew people by name, and he knew what their abilities and achievements were, and he tried to bring the best among them and try to put them in positions where they can move forward and not be bogged down by certain seniors or by any weight of the administration within the local departments or centers. So and also this was very difficult for us as an institute. We were used to committees, but we were also used to not really understanding how committees can be contributing. So we would always, some of us, try to put up notes of dissent and such. So he tried to break through that and say that you might have a different opinion, you can place your arguments, but at the end of the day we have to come to only one decision. And once we've made the decision, we have to stick together and support that decision through. We can always come back and review that decision, but then it has to be a committee effort. So that was a very good thing to help people to work together. And that gave the confidence for young people to also to voice their thoughts and what they wanted to see from the experiences they had had elsewhere. So essentially bringing pride into what we had and also building into the future. So also this is one thing he would always tell us, that the departments should be driving the central administration, in our case the JT building, and not the other way around, So this was always coming back again and again. So that so instead of the institute telling us, okay, this much is the money you have and now you decide. So he helped us to look at it in a bigger vision. You set your agenda and tell what you want, and we will find out ways to meet them. And also, Roorkee, though it had a long history, the alumni was not really contributing. And in his term, we could see a turnaround, and now we have some big contributions coming as well, which is something which is connected to his own efforts. And also, he helped us to think not as a young IIT. I mean, though we were only 20 years old as an IIT, so he would always ask us to compare with the older IITs and try to aim and relate to them, bring PhD experts for the Viva and all that from the other IITs and engage with them and make that movement possible. And also, communication was very important, particularly the internal communication and also in the peer group, what we exchanged. He was very particular to ensure that we do not put down our own institution and thereby, without even knowing, create a poor perception of the institute. So that helped, and it changed the way communications happened, even on the email groups. So there was a little bit of self-restraint, how you voice your thoughts. And this is important. He brought a breath of fresh air in the way in which he gave importance to everybody. So the non-teaching staff, the student, the faculty, and also without looking at the gender, male or female. So he really wanted to make sure that all of them had their say and had their role in it. And also opening up the labs 24/7. This was a new thing. So this also is credited to his duration. And of course, I can go on and on and on. But on a personal front, I would just like to say that I know personally how he handled some very critical situations. So we had a flood in the campus, and some young faculty had their homes filled with water. And since we are a very rigid administrative setup, the Institute Works Department was just looking at it and trying to address it. But Professor Chaturvedi was coming forward and saying, the faculty who was really stressed, okay, you can come and stay in my home. So that changed everything. And the institute administration woke up and they opened all the guest houses for the faculty to stay. And also during COVID, there were people who were seriously ill. And he made a lot of efforts to find places in hospitals so that they could, be saved. And I know at least a couple of them owe their life to him. And essentially, Professor Chaturvedi has so much contribution in IIT Roorkee, and we still remember him and his time there very fondly. And I know that since he has been used to a very old institution, I think he is well equipped to handle the challenges which will come in BHU. But Professor Chaturvedi, I would like to just say that we are not just happy about the policies you did, but we are more happy about the pride and the confidence and the unity you built into the system. And I think that is still holding together. Thank you very much, and all the best.
Thank you very much, Professor BSS Daniel. I now invite Professor Prem Felix to describe the contributions and impact of Professor Chaturvedi at IIT Mandi, and also his reminiscences of Professor Chaturvedi.
Good evening, one and all present here. So it's a real privilege and honor for me to be part of this celebration of 60th birthday of Professor Chaturvedi. During the day, and of course, a lot has been told about his academic contributions and as a teacher, as a researcher. But I would say I have witnessed, I can say with full confidence, I have witnessed the best administrator, academic administrator ever. I have so I am representing here the IIT Mandi community, which could experience the Midas touch of Professor Chaturvedi's magic wand of administration for about more than 1.5 years. Although he was having an additional charge of IIT Mandi with IIT Roorkee, he took up the charge of IIT Mandi in June 2020 amidst the COVID crisis. So when this happened, so the community was very apprehensive. We were all worried whether a director having full charge of an institution of the size of IIT Roorkee will be able to do justice to a smaller institute like IIT Mandi. But all our apprehensions vanished in thin air because he is such an able administrator. So that was a period of great uncertainty, the COVID, one of its kind in time, and his first priority was ensuring the safety of everyone while ensuring that all the activities go on. So, and he's not physically present in the campus. In fact, his first visit to the campus was after almost 6 months after joining as the director. But you see, even when he is remotely operating, he was able to conduct everything smoothly. All academic activities went on. In fact, IIT Mandi probably is the only institute which didn't send away any of the research scholars. We had the research activities continuing in full swing during the COVID crisis. And even the construction activities, none of the workers were sent away. All the construction activities were happening. And all the academic activities, teaching online, and so on, and that too without having any single incident. Although we have many infections in the campus, but no untoward incident happened during this. So that is only because of the leadership he was providing to the task force. And I would certainly say about his style of conducting meetings, because it's something we all amazed. Although he is director of 2 institutes, in online meetings he will join a couple of minutes in advance, and then he will interact informally to all our those who are present, and his meetings are very crisp and to the point, but he will let everyone speak, all the voices are heard, and then he will conclude the meeting in very, very short period of time. You know, that's something every administrator should learn. And I had the fortune in working very closely with him as the Dean of Faculty Affairs. So, in fact, the first batch of professors, you know, the promotions happened when he was the director, and then he put in together all the policies, he changed everything, he streamlined the policies of recruitment, the review process, and then that ensured that we were an institute of 100 faculty members when he joined, but in a short period of 1 year, he conducted such several recruitments, so that we offered almost 36 faculty offers and 30 people joined. 30% growth in just 1 year compared to 100 in 10 years, 10 plus years. So that's the kind of the way he conducted, and the way he conducts the selection meetings or any other meetings. It's again another things to learn. As an administrator, he is so impartial. He will guide the committee, but he will listen to the experts, and he will let the experts take the decision rather than he takes the decision. But if there is any conflict, he will, of course, try to resolve it. So, and to us, always he was available round the clock on WhatsApp. You send a message, and in no time the reply will come. So I don't know how he manages his time. We in a 24 hours, I feel that he has 72 hours. Maybe he has some special tool by which he manages his time. So please, share that tool with us also, sir. So, and he's a compassionate leader. This has been already told, but any person feeling astray, any person feeling let down, he will not let the person go away. He will try to bring them back to the mainstream, and he will ensure that, there was a faculty member who was not applying for promotion. For 10 years, he was arguing that he should be considered directly as a professor. And he ensured me that a DOFA goes to this person thrice before the selection committee, and then on the day of interview, this person was not ready to face the interview. First of all, he was not ready to apply. Then we shortlisted him, but then on the day of interview, he was not ready to face the selection. But Professor Chaturvedi again calls him and make sure that he is promoted. So that is his personal touch. I can go on and on, but the one another important thing I learned from him, he would say, never burn any bridges. He don't have any enemies. So that's another thing that I learned from him. So today on his 60th birthday, we don't just celebrate the years, we celebrate the legacy, the leadership, and the person Professor Chaturvedi is. Happy birthday, sir. May the next chapter in BHU be filled with continued impact, good health, and well-deserved joy. Let me take this moment also to thank his better half, Charu ma'am. He could go out and take all these leadership roles, as Professor Singh said, 11 o'clock coming back. Personal sacrifices were made by the family members. Otherwise, he would not be able to deliver all these duties, and give his time to others. So thank you, ma'am, for sharing your husband with all of us. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Prem Felix. In fact, I have to share something very interesting on the lines that you said, the personal sacrifices by his family, because I've been in his neighbor for 10 years. I think Professor Chaturvedi has not put a foot inside any grocery store or any place on campus. उनको पता नहीं होगा कौन सा चीज़ कहाँ से आ रहा है. All I have seen is Madam manages the entire thing. उनको बस he is in his home, laptop, TV. That is what I've seen. So thank you very much. Thanks, ma'am, and of course, big thanks to her that in fact that is true that he could take all these positions because of the incredible infrastructure, the support framework that he had. I now welcome Professor Tarun Gupta to share his contributions as Dean R&D at IIT Kanpur.
Good evening, all of you. It's my great privilege to talk about Professor Chaturvedi. He was Dean R&D from 2011 to 2014 and definitely raised the bar for all of us to follow, because the expectations and the efficiency of Dean R&D office improved tremendously during his time, largely because he's a keen observer and very swift decision maker and firm decision maker also, because he stays on what he decides. During his tenure, I was one of the IRDC member from Civil Engineering Department. So I was part of some of the committees. Some of those which I remember was lab development account, which was the first of its kind and still surviving the test of the time and has become very important as far as all the PIs are concerned. Another committee was on hazardous waste management, which he initiated because he felt that we need to do something about the way chemicals and other hazardous material are being disposed of or handled within the system, within the IIT campus. In addition, I think he led this BSNL IITK Center for Excellence. I think that was also landmark event. And some of the interesting project, I think one I remember was Digital Mandi, which became very, very popular, which came out of it. In fact, he also initiated nucleation grant between like interdisciplinary, like two different PIs coming from different department, asking for some seed money. So that was given from R&D fund. And also I remember that some of the initiatives taken by him regarding space. So CSC was not occupied, the Center for Environmental Science and Engineering, and it was faculty members from one particular department holding rather than the interdisciplinary nature for which that center was being made. And he ensured that there was some sensible decision taken which were not according to what was the like the perception. And he took a lot of pain to understand what was going on and took very firm decisions, which were surprising for a lot of us. But then I think some of them have brought fruitful products out of it. In addition, on personal note, I have interacted with him. In fact, quizzed him with a lot of difficult and awkward questions. But the clarity that he has about those really like kind of surprised me pleasantly at times. And I wish him all the best. And thank you for the commitment that you have given to the community and IIT Kanpur. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Tarun Gupta. I now invite our Dean Faculty Affairs, Professor Jitendra Bera, to talk about his reminiscences regarding Professor Ajit Chaturvedi. Just give me a second. आपका slide है. हाँ, मैं आपका slide है.
Oh, you have done it already.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Thank you,
Aditya and the organizing team members for inviting me to this occasion, to the celebration in honor of Professor Chaturvedi. Aditya has given me a one-page write-up to read. That will be extremely boring. So I will say few words. I'll skip that part, and whatever has to be said has already been said. But before I say my words, let me. I have an official duty to perform. You see on the photo that there is a gate where two distinguished colleagues reside inside. One on the left side and one on the right side. And both together have contributed significantly at the institute and also at the national level. Their combined achievement involves couple of things. 2 + 2, 4 times director / vice chancellor. They have walked long path, and I have in the authority that they walk the longest miles every day in the campus. And also they have kept the gate very, very clean. So considering all this, and by the power vested in me by the competent authority, I now pronounce this as the most important gate in the campus. Just to be on the safer side, let me also tell you my boss's house gate was not in the competition. Otherwise, I would have been biased. Well, jokes apart. I know Professor Chaturvedi from the day I came in the campus 22 years before. And I wouldn't say that we have broken bread every day together, but we have had several interactions. And sir, you have been very kind and helpful in my career. Every time I have approached you, you have given me very good counseling. I always appreciated your gentle approach to the very complex problem. I recall I was in the committee of research complex design, and I have seen you, the wildest proposal that people have brought, you knew, I know that you knew that that will never see the light of the day, but you listened to all those proposals. On the first day of my job as Dean of Faculty Affairs, we met, and you told me to give a patient hearing to all colleagues, even if I am not able to help them. Your counseling and life lessons have shaped the way I do my job. Happy 60th birthday, many more years to contribute and enrich the education, the academics, and the institute building at home and beyond. I congratulate you and your family on the occasion of reaching this important milestone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Vera. I now invite Professor Chaturvedi's close colleague and friend from ISC, Professor Chukalingam, to describe his reminiscences regarding Professor Chaturvedi. Thank you.
So good evening, and it's a real privilege and honor to be on this dais to talk some nice things about Professor Chaturvedi. And it goes back to several decades. And when I joined an assistant professor way back in the late 90s, the first place I came as an assistant professor to give a technical talk was IIT Kanpur. And the occasion was NCC, National Communications Conference. And since then, IIT Kanpur has been very special, and more special because there was a friend always, Professor Ajit Chaturvedi, all these years, including today. And communications brought us together. The area of research that we had, that brought us together. We grew along with our conference, which is the National Conference on Communications. So I think we contributed to it, we learned from it, and we grew along with it. So he's a great organizer of conferences, and that I could see all the time. And Professor Daniel, I would agree that you said it is difficult for a single person to be a good teacher as well as a good administrator. With Professor Ajit Chaturvedi, I agree with you 100%. With Professor Chaturvedi, both are extremely good. I will add one more. He's an extremely very good researcher on top of that. Okay, so having a good teaching and good research output and mentoring so many PhD students and being a good administrator is a very rare combination. In a personal way, as a very good friend, that is the fourth dimension that he added. He always, you look at him, he smiles, and then it is contagious. And for an administrator, that is an inborn asset. You know, people who come with a lot of issues with you as an administrator, the moment he is very calm, very smiling, and very caring, makes a lot of difference. I think that is one of the things that is very natural, and I think everyone who interacts with you, I think, are very happy about it. And it is not that he's grown as an administrator, but he's a very humble person. And I could see he was a student to his professor just a few months back. I think both of us were there, along with his guru, Professor K.R. Sharma, who gave his presentation in one of the private university committee for curriculum development. So if you see a photograph with three of us, Professor Sharma, Professor Ajit Chaturvedi, and myself, among the three who is most attentive in that photograph is what we saw in the dinner. So whether it is a dinner, which is very informal, or whether it's an academic session, which is very informal, AI will immediately identify that is Professor Ajit Chaturvedi. The amount of attention that he gives, immediately it will identify. So he's very humble. He respects his teachers, I could say. As I've seen him all along, he's one of the best friends, one of the great contributors to research. And not the least, but last, he is 100% an indigenous talent. Indigenous grown talent, BTech, MTech, PhD, Professor IIT BHU, Professor at IIT Kanpur, IIT Roorkee, now reverse, again director, again another vice chancellor. And I wish you all the very best on your professional path. And 60th birthday, very great wishes. I think the family, whoever it is, now at this age, I recognize families have done silent support for all of us as academics. I think families do deserve a big round of applause and appreciation. Because I tell this now, looking back, we would not have done few things without our family's silent support. And I think you probably got it. Thanks for the family and your spouse. And thanks for inviting me to give this talk. For the organizers, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Chokalingam. I now invite brother of Professor Chaturvedi, Dr. Ajit Chaturvedi, to give his describe his reminiscences with Professor. Thank you.
So, thank you very much, Professor Aditya Jagannathan, for this real privilege. We as a family would have missed a lot if we had not been here. So first of all, I am personally very grateful for inviting us and having us for this very precious occasion. I can only say that we have seen the other side. We hardly know any of these achievements because they never shared anything with us. So it is really humbling to know what all he has done here. So Professor Manindra and Dr. Vinod Singh, and I know Professor Dr. Rungta, and I know so many of you for 30, 40 years now, ever since college life. And Manindra and Rachna, we were together in Chennai and so many places. So it's really very inspiring to see what all has happened here. I would say that when I think of Ajit as a young boy, a really smiling face with a dimple on the cheek, and Devanand-like hairstyle comes to your image. He had an amazing aspiration. Always he was very forward-looking, open-minded, even as a child. And I will say, hold your breath. Actually, hold your breath. You will be amazed to know that his first walk, independent walk to school, started when he was only 3 years old. Now that is something which will actually shock most of the people in the hall. So he was only 3 years, and my mother was praying inside, and he left his tricycle in the veranda, and I was the immediate elder brother. My elder brother is also here. And I was in school at St. Peter's. This little boy walked from the home all the way to school through that path, and there he went and sat down in my class. So that was when he was only 3 years old. So his love for academics or education or whatever you say started at that time. And that was really very inspiring. I would say that if you look at his love affair with science, that also started maybe he was only 7 or 8 years old. He had an aluminum pink box. I don't know whether he remembers or not. And he had that box where you treasure all the science material will be kept there, some cuttings, some funny papers. And he was only 6 or 7 years old. At that time, he would collect all those things and he would say, "Ghar mein kuch ho jayega, main ye bag leke bhagunga." And that was his most precious thing in the home. And that was that science, that box. His love affair with science was very, very deep right at that stage. And so he used to do maths without pen and paper. And for somebody like me who was senior to him and not that mathematics kind, it was like awe-inspiring. क्या कर रहा है? कैसे ऐसे कोई maths होती है? किताब लेट के जो है maths पढ़ रहे हैं. So that was the way he used to do. And I would say that somehow he was very keen on academic and studies, but he never loved school in true sense. That is what I remember. In fact, he used to protest to the nudges from our mother to go back to the table and study. If she would hint he is wasting his time all around, not doing his work, she would nudge him ki go back now. That means next 2 hours he's not going to go back to the table. He is not going to study. So his protest, and on occasions he would study for hours and days together. That means he was completely focused times, and most often than not, he would do anything other than the real school work. He was more interested in my books than his own books. And you will be surprised to know that I was 4 years his senior. So class 2 student, more interested in class 6 books or science books, or a class 6 student more in 10th books, was very surprising, but that is the way he was. So he had a lot of such interesting habits right from the beginning. And so I would say just one more thing, that he would always have a mind of his own. When he was in class 8, he decided कि मुझे ICSE नहीं करना है, history geography नहीं पढ़ना है. So he said that he switched to UP board. And as luck would have it, in the first year, some transfer didn't happen. And so he had to appear for ninth final exams on 3 days' notice for history and geography. And for a person who doesn't like history and geography, that was the preparation time he was given, because the transfer could not happen. And there also he again topped. So that was his depth of understanding. He did very well, actually, I would say. So all through, he was a darling of his teachers. He was really loved by the seniors, elders in our family, because of his attitude to talk to everyone. He was, right from the childhood, he was very extrovert and open-minded and loving and talking to everybody. So he was very good on that. And once he was in class 11th, and so by that time he had developed this habit of not going to school easily. He was not the regular schoolgoer. He was the occasional schoolgoer who will do very well. He was loved by his teachers. So he walked into his class of 11th, and atom was being taught. If I remember correctly, was it atom or something? Atom was being taught. And the physics teachers probably saw the teacher in him, or he had a lot of respect for his understanding of subject. So he invited him, "Will you want to take a class for your own class?" And he lovingly did the honors. He took the class. So that day, probably the teacher, Ajit Chaturvedi, was born that day. Hopefully, that was the thing that happened. And subsequently, you'll be surprised to know that he never appeared for any entrance exam for any engineering college. The only exam he gave was for IIT entrance, and that was not to become an electrical engineer. That was to become a physics scientist. He came here to do physics. And while the counseling was going on, few of my batchmates, my contemporaries at that time, I was in GSM Medical College, so we were all here for the counseling. My dad was there, and few of my friends were there. They all convinced him कि देखो इतनी अच्छी रैंक आई है ना, तुम पहले इलेक्ट्रिकल ले लो, बाद में स्विच कर लेना 1 साल बाद फिजिक्स में. From physics you can't go back to electrical. From electrical you will be able to go back to physics. So there you have an electrical engineer and a teacher, and today we are celebrating almost 50 years of shaping up of a person with so much of dedication and love. So he was very, very inspiring always, and he did a wonderful work wherever he has been. And I would say that probably he got the best traits from both our parents. And my mother was very ambitious. My mother was very, driven, and he got from her the ability to achieve the impossible or to build the impossible. He could see all that and could deliver on it. And from my father probably got the attitude of the humility and ability to happy-go-lucky, not caring too much, not bothered too much about material achievements, just day-to-day life is fantastic, and that is what. And above all, probably the picture I saw that Mahatma Ajit Anand, that thing he got from my grandfather, because he had that ascetic attitude of towards everything in life, that pursuit of excellence, pursuit of academics, pursuit of pure knowledge, without any hangings, without any other things. So that is something. So he is a mixture of all these wonderful traits which he gathered from all around and from the generations of our family. And he has been a fine example and an inspiration for the next generation. And I would say at times for me also, he's been very inspiring, and I often discuss my own problems with him. So I would say that before I close, I want to, on behalf of my elder brother, Ajit, my bhabhi, Kanika, Malini, and myself, I really want to thank you for including us here, and very grateful for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hari Chaturvedi. Professor Chaturvedi, some of your friends have sent their best wishes and messages to you, which I am going to play for you.
प्रोफेसर चतुर्वेदी और मैंने आईआईटी कानपुर से इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियरिंग साथ की, पर हमारा साथ उससे भी बहुत पुराना है. हम लोग 10th और 12th में भी साथ में थे. हम लोग का ग्रुप था, मैं था, अजीत था और आशीष गुप्ता था. मुझे उन दिनों की भी याद है जब हम लोग 12th में फिजिक्स की बुक्स से जूझ रहे होते थे, तो अजीत के बुक शेल्फ पर फाइनमैन्स लेक्चर्स ऑफ फिजिक्स रखी हुई होती थी. जो मुझे याद आता है पहले का कि अजीत का शुरू से ही इंक्लिनेशन रिसर्च और टीचिंग की तरफ था. हमारे जो फिजिक्स के टीचर थे, उन्होंने एक बार अजीत के इस टैलेंट को देखकर अजीत से कहा कि हम सबकी क्लास के फिजिक्स की, और हम जो उनके फ्रेंड्स थे वो सब उनके स्टूडेंट्स हो गए. उन्होंने क्लास ली और सबने उसकी बहुत तारीफ की थी. मुझे पता चला कि बाद में भी आईआईटी कानपुर के स्टूडेंट्स ने अजीत को बेस्ट टीचर का टाइटल दिया. हमारी शुभकामनाएं हैं कि हमारे हर दिल अजीज अजीत अपने स्टूडेंट्स के और अपने मित्रों के इसी तरह से प्रिय बने रहे.
I've known Professor Ajit Chaturvedi since about 43 years. When we joined IIT Kanpur, in Ajit I found a very dear friend, a good human being, and a very wise person. What is unique about Ajit is that even when he was less than 17 years in 1982, he was so mature and so clear in his approach and in what he wanted to do. So right from first year when we used to ask him, so he was very clear that he would want to go in academics, and not only in academics, but he would want to stay in IIT Kanpur and be a faculty there, and so on and so forth. And he worked towards it. What is important is that to dream is of course important, but I would say he is blessed because what he dreamt, he could achieve. I wish him all the best in all future endeavors, and I hope that he would further rise in his career and contribute meaningfully to the field of academics and society and the nation. So thank you so much.
हाय अजीत, तुम्हारे साथ कॉलबेल और आईआईटी में गुजारा हुआ समय बहुत ही सुंदर निकला, और उसके अलावा तुम्हारे परिवार से जितनी घनिष्ठता बनी लखनऊ और उसके बाद भी, और जो अभी भी चल रही है, वो मेरे लिए अनमोल्य है। एक चीज़ जो तुम्हारे बारे में मैं कहूँगा कि when you presented things like there are two instances, एक पुनीत त्रिपाठी के क्लास में फिजिक्स का लेक्चर दिया था और एक वी सिन्हा के कोर्स का प्रेजेंटेशन तुमने दिया था। Your explaining skills are exemplary and I have not seen many like you. Wish you all the best in what you would be doing, and we will always be great friends.
ये कहानी शुरू होती है 1972 या हो सकता है 73 में। मैं सेंट फ्रांसिस स्कूल के कक्षा 2 या 3 में पढ़ता था, और क्लास में 40-45 बच्चे होते थे। मेरी रैंक 41, 42, 43 ऐसे ही आती थी कहीं, और पीछे बैठता था, बहुत बातें करता था। खैर उसके बाद वी स्पेंड लॉट ऑफ टाइम टुगेदर। सबसे बढ़िया टाइम होता था, अजीत का घर भी हमारे घर के पास में था, तो हमने बहुत सारे क्विज पार्टिसिपेट करे एक साथ। उन दिनों क्विज बहुत होता था। फिर स्कूल के बाद थोड़े दिन के बाद अजीत बीच में दूसरे स्कूल में चले गए, और हम फिर मिले सीधे आईआईटी में। बस एक ही समस्या रही है अजीत के साथ में, वो ये कि ये हॉल 2 में थे, हम जानी दुश्मन हॉल 3 में थे। बट nonetheless it's just marvelous being so closely knowing Ajit. So only I can wish him all the very best, and obviously I'll remain a true friend and a close friend forever. और मुझे गाना नहीं आता है, नहीं तो मैं ज़रूर से वो शोले की ये दोस्ती हम ना तोड़ेंगे ज़रूर से गाता। बाय बाय। ये कहानी शुरू होती है
I now invite Professor Chaturvedi's daughter, Anya Chaturvedi, to describe her reminiscences. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. So it has been really heartwarming to see all of you here right now praising him and going on and on. I'm guessing the function was supposed to be of half an hour, and now it's been more than 1.5 hours. As my chacha said, I have seen his life from a very different lens compared to many of you who spoke here today. I got to hear so many things that I had never known about him. And today I realize the kind of humility that he has, because I never heard it through him. I've heard on and off from other colleagues, but never from him. And now that I think about it, since years I have been asking him to maybe work less. He used to come back at 11 p.m., at midnight, and even in administrative positions, he has always been coming back at the same time. And I keep badgering him to come back fast and like rethink everything. But now seeing the impact that he has had, I have to maybe rethink my scoldings, but that's a maybe. So, in fact, I would also like to mention, it is amazing how people recognized how both my parents have worked as a team. So I recall this particular incident that was mentioned. So in IIT Roorkee, while he was serving as a director, there was some incident where the students had been, there was a silent protest outside the house, outside the director's house. And there were some conversations going on between students and him. And my mother, she, seeing the heat and the weather outside, she actually sent, I don't know if he also knows about this or not also, but she sent some cold drinks to the students sitting outside so that even if they're protesting, they should not fall sick or anything. And meanwhile, I'm sure he worked his magic later and things were resolved, and I'm sure the students were definitely heard. But this is all that I was thinking while sitting there and listening to all of you. What I had actually thought of saying today was that reminiscing all these moments, I think the principle that I have seen him go through, you can tell me later if that's your principle or not, but I think it's always to encourage curiosity. So I have seen him as a parent, I have seen him as a teacher, and I have seen him as a leader of many institutes. But since childhood, in all three aspects, I have always seen him encourage curiosity. So in my childhood, during my school, college, or even at home, he always used to encourage me to ask questions. Oh, why are you not asking questions? So even if it meant challenging him, he was always about making sure that I asked the right questions. And I think that even went on to his students, because he kept on encouraging them during classes to question him and challenge his opinions or whatever he was teaching. And I recognized that when he used to come back home and tell me, oh, today this student actually told me that I'm wrong. I have to revise my slides. Oh, that's amazing. And that was not like something that he was scared of or he was worried about. It was actually, he used to be overjoyed when his students used to challenge him. He was actually really happy when students used to challenge him like that. So, and continuing obviously into his leadership positions, he always had this open door policy where whether it be students, staff, or faculty, everyone felt open enough to come to him with their grievances. Whether a good enough solution was reached or not, that I'm not sure of, that they can tell, but I'm sure all the people always felt heard. And that is something that I have definitely learned from him, how to care for people, how to make them feel heard, and how to make the most of situation. And I'm losing my thoughts right now, but seeing all of this, I remember this particular advertisement. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, but early in 2000s, there was this Tata Sky ad, which used to come up, be like, oh, पूछने में क्या जाता है? And that was his favorite ad. And that is the policy he has been going through, and it's amazing. And yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone who is present here, because it means a lot to all of us. And most of you at some point or the other probably contributed to his career as well through your own curiosity. And yeah, so thank you, Bapu, for always being there as my guide, my friend, and my greatest example. And you have always mentioned how we are supposed to serve our country in our own way, even if we are not in the army or something, but we should have an impact or have some thing that we can give back to our own country that has done so much for us. And I feel today that you can see and you feel actually proud that you have made that impact. So thank you, everyone.
I now invite our director, Professor Manindra Agarwal, to describe his reminiscences about Professor Ajit Chaturvedi. Thank you.
Okay, so I think we ran into each other in first time 1982. I hope I'm audible. We were in the same hostel, Hall 2, and all the different wings. But very early on, Ajit established himself as very clearly reflected in the graduating summary of his character, the Mahatma or Swami Ajitanand, as a person who is very serious, who likes to debate, discuss things, has very clear position, and that position always emanates from principles. So he's a very principled person. Unlike many of us who made principles on the fly and as and when needed, but he always had guiding principles, thoughts, and stuck to them all the way through, even if the situation was little tricky, or there were friends who were doing some non-serious things, but he was very particular about how things should be done. And that's a trait, along with this meticulousness, which other speakers have also mentioned, which has carried through with him throughout until now. So my recollection of our early interaction is a bit hazy, because I tend to lose memories very fast. So generally my brain deletes things which are sufficiently back in time. In fact, many of people who remember their early childhood, or I don't remember anything at all of my early childhood. But what I do remember are more recent things. And this is a story which not many of you would know. In 2010, Ajit was head of department. He, I believe, took charge in 2008. And for 2 years, he served as the head, and he did a lot of things, including promoting everybody, has just been shared. It's a very popular head, and he was also very committed to, he wanted to take the department forward, do many more good things. And that's a time when then Director Professor Dhande called him and asked him to become Dean R&D, take over the charge of Dean Research and Development. Normally, faculty, you would expect that, okay, sure, we'll be happy to. But Ajit said no. That no, I am doing my job as a head. I still have 1 year to go. So I'll want to finish this before I think of anything else. It is my commitment to the department. So Professor Dhande said, fine. He was disappointed, but he said, fine. As it happens, probably later the same day or next day, he called me also to take as Dean of Resources and Alumni, as it is called now, Dean Resources Planning Generation at the time. I was also a head who had served, actually by the time I had served 5 years as head, so I was already tired of being head. So I said, fine, I'll be happy to switch. He said, great, but you have your first job is to convince Ajit to take Dean R&D position. I said, okay, let's do it right now. He said, chalo fir chalte hain. So both of us walked from his office. We barged into his office, sat in front of him and smiled. He knew what's coming. And I said, Ajit, there is no option. You have to take it up. And Professor Dhande and I are here. We are not leaving until you accept. So he was literally forced to accept this, which is actually a good thing. Although department lost, but institute gained very significantly. Because as Dean R&D, the processes that existed until then were ad hoc, many of the processes I should say. And Ajit streamlined them beautifully. I think is still remembered by many very fondly during as his Dean R&D of his tenure. And he didn't stop there. He, within I think he had a gap of 1 year maybe when he got picked up to take over as deputy director, and he served for 2 years before he became the director of IIT Roorkee. And that's a time when he took his revenge on me. I think that grudge he had of 2010, he had carried forward, and time came 2016 when, because he was demitting office, a new deputy director was to be found. Then the then director, Professor Manna, asked me to take over. I said, no, I am done. I've done enough administration. I need to go back to research. And although I am not, don't have it from confirmed sources, but I'm very sure this is what happened. Ajit, when Professor Manna went to Ajit, why Manind is not agreeing. So he advised him, you talk to him and say कि 1 साल के लिए ले लो, just a tenure that Ajit is missing, that's 3-year tenure. उसके बाद मैं नया कर दूंगा appointment. So he called me. I said, okay, if you're saying 1 year, then ठीक है. Then the Ajit also advised him, Professor Manna, कि आप बोर्ड में लेके जाइए, बोर्ड से 3 साल का अप्रूव करा लीजिएगा. And that's exactly what happened. And after the board meeting, Professor Manna calls him, भाई मणिंद क्या करें? बोर्ड कहता है कि 1 साल तो ठीक नहीं, अच्छा नहीं लगेगा, 3 साल कर देते हैं. And so that was his revenge on me. And of course, his tenure at IIT Roorkee is very well known. The colleagues from IIT Roorkee have described it. He was an exceptionally popular director there, from whatever I've heard from various sources, both among faculty and students. Some faculty didn't like him, of course, which is to be expected, but he almost universally popular among students because he did, IIT Roorkee still had many vestiges of the past where it was to be very controlled environment, and students did not like it, and Ajit facilitated opening up or making the environment at IIT Roorkee a lot more free, and which was really appreciated by students. Then he came back from Roorkee, back to IIT Kanpur, and as it happened, not too long after, I took over as director of the institute. So one of the first people I asked for help was Ajit. I said, there are a bunch of things that I would like to do and I need your help, and he was more than willing participant to that. He helped cleaning up many of the things, and unfortunately now I had to let him go because he is now serving another job at BHU. But I'll end with just one more point thing, which is just yesterday actually. Somebody I was talking to, he was from Banaras, typical Banarsi person, and the topic came up about Ajit just becoming VC there. He said, Ajit साहब तो बहुत, उनका रेपुटेशन तो बहुत है, अच्छा है कि वो चेंज करते हैं, तो BHU को या तो वो चेंज कर देंगे या वो BHU छोड़ के चले जाएंगे, दो में से एक चीज़ होगा. ऐसे देखिए, मैं अजित को 40 साल से ज़्यादा जानता हूँ, वो छोड़ के जाने वाले तो नहीं हैं. So I am pretty sure BHU, as one of the preeminent universities of the country, is up for some significant structural changes. It will not be liked by many there, but it will be to the great benefit to the university and to the country. So wish Ajit all the best, great success in his new tenure, and I'm sure he'll do outstandingly well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor. Thank you very much, sir, for your wonderful address. Professor Ajit Chaturvedi, your birthday has brought us good luck. We now have an MOU signing with CDOT to establish an academic center of excellence. So shortly, I will request, just in a minute, I will request our director and Dr. R.K. Upadhyay to come onto the dais to sign the MOU. I now invite Dr. R.K. Upadhyay to please come onto the stage, and Dr. Banindra Agarwal to please come onto the stage to sign the MOU.
क्या करेगा ये?
Professor Agarwal.
चलेगा.
I now invite Professor Ajit Chaturvedi to share his brief experiences and reminiscences. Thank you.
So let me start by blaming Aditya and Adrish. They are the two culprits. So I warned them that this is a lot of work. don't get into this. But I don't know, maybe I did something wrong, something good in the previous birth, that I got so much affection from my colleagues. Ketan, Abhishek, Rohit, Adrish, Aditya, Swami. So, I mean, this is, what you are seeing is just a imaginary show. It is just put up, the choreographed by them. So, I don't believe these things, whatever has been said. If you want me to say a few things, then I would say that we have heard this saying that 60 is the new 40. So I am not intending to feel that I am 60. So I think now I'm 40 years old. So I'll try to see whatever I can put efforts, and if some of those efforts lead to results, of course I'll be happy with that. It is true that I had a exceptional family. That is true. My parents were ahead of their time. Both my father and mother, they were not normal people, and in their own rights. So the kind of support that they gave to their kids was unimaginable. None of my friends in my circle, in any of my brothers' friend circle, would get that kind of support from the parents. I mean, not that every parent is loving. Love is not the issue. But the issue is that this support to fly the way you want to fly. And this happened 50 years back. See, this was not today's times. And my grandfather, of course, was in a different league. Despite having stayed in a small town entire his life, despite having passed away in 1979, I think he is still the most respected figure in his field. So some of that reflects on the family, some of it you get something from them or something. So maybe some things worked for me, some destiny, maybe some efforts fell in the right place. And I could come here, and then I was fortunate that I got this institution, IIT Kanpur. I owe everything to this institute. I was fortunate to be in a department which was very liberal, very democratic, no hierarchy, always teamwork. So what my colleagues in SPCom stream see is I'm just carrying forward the whatever I've seen. I have not added or subtracted anything, but they think that I'm doing it. My brothers and bhabis, they take exceptional pride if I achieve something. And if they know that I have not got something, some achievement, they find faults elsewhere, not with me. So that is the kind of love I have got. My daughter, of course, she doesn't want me to take up any leadership role, primarily because she feels that I get overworked and it comes at the cost of family time. But she is a big pillar of support. I mean, nowadays kids become they provide the support, and she is a big pillar of support. Of course, Charu thinks that I am perfect and ideal in whatever I do at work. But exactly the opposite in whatever I do or don't do at home. I am the most most poor guy at home, doesn't know to do anything, can't even remember simple things and messes up everything. So whatever she sees, I mean, I'm the worst person, but I can tell you one thing, that I can hardly do anything on the work front without her support. So she is the real pillar of support. So again, she has the traits of my parents. She doesn't question, right? Whatever you want, you go ahead and do. Even if she has to suffer, she will suffer, but she's a real pillar of support. My nieces, my nephew, all that are very closely knit. So they always maintain touch and sort of they provide that kind of emotional anchor or that kind of support that one looks forward to. In my early days at IIT Kanpur, maybe it was 1985, I went to the office of Professor P.R.K. Rao, because at that time this question was to be settled, that where will I do PhD or where will I try to go for PhD? That question was crossing my mind, and I had heard that he is one of those who sort of discourages people from going abroad, so I didn't want to take a call without talking to him. So one sentence that he said in 1985 stayed with me. He said, if India has to become a better country, people from Poland will not come to do it. So I got the message, and that message resonated with me. So it was very easy for me after that, because as I said, my parents were there, whatever you decide is fine. So then I went ahead and did that. Of course, I'll tell one more story. Sorry, I'm taking a bit of your time because it is already a long extended session. So the PhD that I did at IIT Kanpur at that time, because it was not in an experimental area, so I was not suffering because of any advanced equipment or any consumables or things like that. It was a theoretical work. But if I have to do good work, it must be reflected at the global stage. That is the hallmark of a good PhD thesis. And I submitted my paper to IEEE Transactions on Signal Processing. That was February of 1995. And Anya was born in the same month when my first paper was communicated. In fact, immediately after my defense, or just after my defense. And do you know when that paper was published in the IEEE Transactions? It was published in September 1999. 4.5 years. All that because nobody would trust the reviewers, the editor. They would not give time to read it, to go through it. So first I had to complain to the editor, then complain to the editor-in-chief, then one round of review completed, then I submit a revised version. Same story happens. So that's why I get so much happiness when I see Rohit, Aditya, Adrish, Ketan, Abhishek publishing like anything. So I feel very happy because I see that, I mean, today the department's name in the communication stream is so well established because of the sort of very dedicated efforts by all this faculty of the communication group. Swami, may I forget, Vashim and Swami are of course new members. So that gives me immense happiness because that was a desire that my friends, my colleagues have fulfilled. Manindra has stolen one story from me. So, so I have to tell the remaining story if there is one. So, it is true that I was not inclined to take up administrative positions, and it is true that I declined at the Dean R&D-ship. But there was one position, administrative position, that I wanted to take. And I think some of you can guess it. That position was headship of the department. So, in IIT Kanpur, for those of you who are new or not familiar with how heads are selected, the director has one-to-one meetings with every faculty in the department to know the views that who should be the next head. So this was, I think, 2005, what's the name? 2008. So Professor Dhande was the director and everybody was called. I remember the meeting was held in PBCEC. So we were all sitting outside one by one going inside. And so because I wanted headship, so I had prepared a list of points which I wanted the department to do because I felt that many things need to be done and sort of instead of blaming the head, why don't you take it? If you think this has to be done, take it up. So then I went with some preparation that the director will ask me this, the director will ask me that. And what Professor Dhande is, I enter inside and he sort of completely floors me. He said, what if I make you the head? I said, all my preparation has gone to waste. I was thinking I'm going to speak this, do this, do this. I'm stammering that, yeah, I think I can take it up, something like that. And the result came after more than 6 weeks, because there were 2 more other heads, departments for which heads had to be selected. So I thought, well, I was a young guy, I think my turn will come later on. So the director has wisely decided in favor of somebody else. But after 6 weeks, the result came and it was in my favor. So now 17 years have passed, so that is why I can declassify this very privileged communication. Otherwise, I wouldn't have sort of said this openly. So that is how I took up that position. And one more thing that I would like to say is that my students have played a very important role. I mean, not only my colleagues. I mean, today they are saying fine words. They are forgetting all my weaknesses, because today is not the occasion to talk about them. So, of course, that is true that I get their love and affection. I don't doubt that at all. So, if I hadn't got these students, I don't think I would have been able to do what I want to do and what I wanted to do. And friends, students, faculty. So, I mean, it was a combination of many things. But Roorkee and Mandi and Shimla also were very, very sort of happy sort of tenures, in the sense that a lot of turmoil, a lot of pains, anguish, but end results were very, very pleasing, because many of the things happened. So I think they will remain etched in both me and my wife Charu's memory, because those days were very memorable. Now I am in a position which is a order of magnitude more complex and probably needs a real test of whatever I have learned from my friends, colleagues and my seniors. Let me see if I can sort of try to do something there. If health is good, so I hope to put in effort. And if some results will come, of course, I'll be happy. So, thank you, Aditya. Thank you, Adrish. Thank you, Ketan. Thank you, Abhishek. Thank you, Swami. Thank you, Bashim. Thank you, Rohit. So, for making my day. I mean, not only day, this hour is going to remain etched in my memory for very long. Thank you very much.
Just give me a second. There's a director. I request someone to share the reminiscences till then maybe Professor Vimal Kumar can briefly share his reminiscences regarding Professor Chaturvedi.
So, okay, but I will still take just 30 seconds, not more than that. Wish you a very, very happy birthday. And my association with Professor Chaturvedi started very late. Professor Agrawal constituted a committee under chairmanship of Professor Chaturvedi. I think I'm audible. And I was put there as a member. And I can tell you whatever people have said, all true and perhaps 100 times more. You know, the things that I have learned. And then again, I continued working with him as now as a chairman and Professor Chaturvedi being a member in some other committee. And it's just, when Professor Chaturvedi left for BHU, And the director was asking me what to do with the committee. And I said, it's impossible to just replace Professor Chaturvedi. So whatever you want to do, that would be fine with me. So just amazing learning experience, attention to detail, care for everyone, even people who he didn't agree with. It's just simply amazing, remarkable, and something that everyone should learn. Thank you very much. Director is back, so I should not be taking more time.
I now request Professor Director Professor Manindra Agarwal to present a bouquet to Mrs. Chaturvedi. I now request Director Professor Manindra Agarwal to present a shawl and memento to Professor Chaturvedi. Thank you very much. It is my pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks on this memorable evening. It has been a valuable learning experience for students and faculty members alike to participate in this state-of-the-art workshop. It is also our privilege to celebrate the achievements of Professor Ajit Chaturvedi, Vice Chancellor BHU, and our esteemed colleague on occasion of his 60th birthday. This is an occasion of great pride, and I am honored to stand before you to express our heartfelt gratitude. First, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to our keynote speaker, Shri R.K. Upadhyay, CEO C.Dot, Professor Manindra Agarwal, Director IIT Kanpur, distinguished guest speakers, Professor A. Chukalingam, Shri Ashutosh Agarwal, Shri Anshuman Nigam, Shri Ashutosh Gore, and invited panelists for their valuable time to participate in this occasion. To our distinguished guests, we thank you for taking the time to join us and share this special moment. Your presence has made this occasion even more memorable. Finally, a big thanks to my EE faculty colleagues for their significant efforts in putting this event together. Your hard work, dedication, and support have been instrumental in making this event possible. We are grateful for your efforts and collaboration. Our sincere heartfelt thanks to Head EE, Professor Yogesh Chauhan, for generously supporting this event. Once again, we extend our sincere gratitude to everyone who has contributed to this special occasion. Your support means a lot to us. Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor Chaturvedi. On behalf of the entire EE family, I wish you a very, very happy 60th birthday. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Have a wonderful day. Please join us for a group photograph just outside in the lobby. Thank you. I will not take too much. Thank you very much, everyone. Please join us for a group photograph. Thank you. Thanks very much.